And now, welcome to the Baseball Festivus for the rest of us, starring James Christopher, Andy Tom Chesson, and Scott McIntyre. And for those of you worried at home, yes, they realize they are all too old and fat to be attempting any feats of strength. And welcome to Screen Jocks' Baseball Festivus for the rest of us. We've got Scott McIntyre and Andy Tom Chesson. And as I said in the introduction of the show, or the introduction of this segment, we will not be doing any airing of grievances because I don't think any of us could survive an actual airing of grievances because we are.
I had heard you were too fragile to have that conversation.
And we're off. I do want to also start though, and just thank you guys for another year of the show. I know that you've already signed on for year 3, season 3, and Jessica and I have made a gift for you. We got a gift for you guys. We have made a donation in your name to the Human Fund. I hope that you are excited.
Can I get a receipt on that?
Whatever. No, look, we're going to do some fun. So we decided, first of all, how are you guys doing the holiday season? We are wrapping down the end of the year. Andy, how are you guys over there?
I am patiently counting a couple of different things. Today is the 7th, so 24 more days of this damned year. And then I think 43 days until we have a new president, which, good countdowns all around.
Good countdown all around. Scott, how are you, man?
I love lamp.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Still thinking back for a moment. No, good. I am kind of with Andy. Hey, we've only got 24 more days of 2020. But in 2018, we couldn't wait for 2019. In 2019, we couldn't wait for 2020. I'm honestly pretty freaking petrified of 2021 right now. I'm just going to take it easy. I'm not going to ask for anything. I'm just going to let's just get through it all. Let's all just hold hands and sing some Kumbaya, and we will make it through together.
I think we're all smart enough to know that the year doesn't change when it rolls over, but I do think the new president and hopefully a new way of looking at things and a vaccine coming. But, we are going to participate in one of the greatest celebrations of Festivus. And if you all look to your left and right, you will see a Festivus poll when you're watching the actual episode. That's right. I edited that stuff in. I'm saucy today. But we're going to start with our airing of grievances. We have come up with people in baseball that we think we got a lot of problems with. To quote Mr. Costanza, I got a lot of problems with you people. And Andy, who is your first airing of grievances directed at?
Well, as I don't really follow rules, it's not a person. I mean, everything eventually falls to Rob Manfred. But my first grievance, advertisements on uniforms. What the hell is this going to be about? I am tired of the idea. It hasn't even happened yet, but I'm tired of the idea that I'm going to see Kellogg's on top of the Detroit Tigers logo on their uniforms going forward in 2021.
Well, they look great.
Probably not.
Is this a thing?
The Players Association has to sign off on it, but yeah, it's going to be a thing.
So we're basically going to be watching the fight in NASCARs.
Eventually. And it was bad enough in Houston for a long time in the Astrodome. We had no advertisements on the walls because it was gauche. This was 70s, 80s. And then Drayton McLean bought the team in the 90s, and all of a sudden it looked like the back page of your local weekly newspaper. And I mean, literally back page. And flash forward to 2020, we have Chick-fil-A foul poles in Minute Maid Park. We've got a community leaders where all those community leaders had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to advertise instead of helping the community. But that's neither here nor there.
The post-game interview will sound something like, I just want to thank the Twinkies hostess, Valvoline STP, sponsored pregame show there by the Backpage Escort Service for allowing me to come out and, good Lord willing, win the ball game.
I'm just really excited for that. Was a Verizon Wireless foul ball. Okay. Scott, who's your first grievance directed to?
I have to do this on behalf of Cardinals Nation. My first grievance is with you, Cardinals GM John Mozeliak. Really? You got all this money. You are the third best payroll in baseball. Fourth behind Boston, New York, and LA. And you can't find an outfielder that hits. Oh, wait. We did find one, and we sent him to Tampa Bay. Really? Really? Come on. I am over John Mozeliak's inability to find an outfielder that can hit the ball. You got Dylan Carlson, who's supposed to be the next best thing ever, and Dylan Carlson comes in with this great OPS of like 700. Okay, he may be great, but you've got to get someone in free agency. We get Ozuna. Ozuna goes away. He hits. He hits after he leaves us. He hits before he leaves us. When they come here, they forget how to hit. I don't. Maybe we can just get 9 infielders or something. I don't know, but I'm over it.
Sounds like 5-star recruits under Tom Herman. Okay, now we are feisty today.
Boy, you guys lit up Kansas State though.
Yeah. As I said in my
after
Facebook
it didn't
post,
matter.
Yeah. That's the worst holiday tradition I've been experiencing, us blowing out teams after it no longer matters.
How about having a team that's lost 3 games on a last second field goal this year? That's not coffee in this mug. I'm just saying.
Okay. It's going to turn into an intervention. You know what, Andy, I think you'll agree with me this. My first grievance is directed at the Tampa Bay defense during the ALCS. The Astros had an expected batting average on many of the outs over 700. Any one of those balls falls in any one of those games, and the Astros play in the World Series. And it was, nothing like how many gappers, how many flips over walls, how many just unreal athletic defense on the Tampa Bay, and I got a lot of problems with it.
And they didn't play that defense against the Dodgers. They saved it all for us. They didn't play it against the Yankees necessarily. They just saved it all for us. It's like our best effort is going to be in the ALCS and screw everything else.
That's right. What is your next grievance?
My next grievance, the only good thing about 2020 is that we skipped Players Weekend, because the alternate uniforms in Players Weekend are the worst things in baseball. And that's saying something in 2020. We went from, in Houston at least, and I think this is pretty much league-wide, to this really weird collection the first year they did the Players Weekend, where Houston somehow got Miami Dolphins colors. I don't know what that was about. The next year it was all orange. And then this final, in 2019, the last year they did this, everybody in baseball did either black or white.
I know.
I took a friend to his first baseball game ever and was trying to explain to him why they would do this. He did not go back to another game the rest of the year.
Why there was semen running around the field? You'd explain that to him.
And everybody had white caps except for Zach Greinke on the Astros, because he needed a black cap. It was just maddening, because why would we understand baseball rules that say you can't hold a white baseball against your white cap in the windup? Because it's bad. Because I can't pick up the ball because it's also white. Orange balls are next, Rob Manfred.
At least the balls won't have advertisement. Scott.
I just got a completely different image of semen running around the baseball field. I'm just sorry. So my next grievance is that it's actually being channeled through me. It's not even my own grievance. It is the grievance of the spirit of Branch Rickey. Branch Rickey, who set up the first farm system under the Cardinals organization that actually worked, who created the minor league system in the way that we see it today. Branch Rickey, who's done all of this work, has a grievance with Rob Manfred, because Rob Manfred is dismantling the whole thing in the name of corporate greed. Yeah. Branch Rickey is the guy who organized the integration of baseball. He has the feeder systems coming up through the minor leagues, and I might want to add, has been impeccably played by both Edward Herman and Harrison Ford on separate occasions. So Branch Rickey has a lot to say to Mr. Manfred and the 30 ownership groups. Sure, no, we're giving it to him. We're giving it to him. They did great. Jim. We're giving it to him.
Harrison Ford is awful. He's ostensibly bad as Branch Rickey in Ford.
I was going to say, wasn't that Harrison Ford's worst performance ever?
I think he was awful in it.
I'm just telling you guys, the spirit of Branch Rickey, who's speaking through me right now, says it was good, and he was very honored.
Han Solo played him.
He was very honored to have Han Solo play him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking for Branch, and if you guys want to take it up with him, then you can set up this channel. But I have it right now, and that's what he's saying. But this is Rob Manfred. What's that, Branch? Yes, sir, Mr. Rickey. It's Rob Manfred and the 30 corporate ownership groups coming through and stealing from the poor to pay the rich. And that is too much of a reflection of what is all wrong with American society. It was all wrong with American society 130 years ago, and we fixed it with trust busting. And it may be time to come through and bust up the trust that is MLB.
Then I'll pivot. I'm going to go in a different order, and I'm going to come off of you, and I'm going to say that I've got a lot of problems with Jim Crane, and I've got problems with Jim Crane. For one, make no mistake about what's happening with the minor leagues. This is his idea. It is referred to amongst the 30 ownership as the Astros plan. I think when you factor that, I think you factor in that he sacrificed his fan base in the name of getting out from under this cheating scandal as quick as he possibly can. His inability to speak to the media in any way, shape, or form. And I think his utter disregard. Look, obviously, I have an issue with Jerry Jones as a Cowboys owner, but I think Jerry Jones is at least a good owner still. I think Jim Crane's probably a good competitive owner, but I think he's a despicable human being. Andy.
And he's probably made, I'd watch what you say. This is a man who made his millions in logistics.
Oh, yeah. This dude's whacking me off. One or the other.
He's doing what?
So far, Jim's talked about semen on the field coming off of me, and now he's getting whacked off by Houston's ownership.
I'm just saying maybe he's going to use some of the olive oil that he probably imports in his side business.
I'm just I'm sensing a theme. I'm sensing a theme here.
What is your third?
My third, Dusty Baker, and Dusty Baker specifically managing bullpens. The long tradition baseball has with teams like the Cubs, the Reds, the Giants, who have existed for 120 years, 150 years, to the more recent franchises of the Astros and the Washington Nationals. All of us have experienced the Dusty Baker magic when it comes to managing a bullpen. And that means not managing a bullpen by over-managing a bullpen. Nobody has a role, because why would you want a role? Nobody knows what they're going to do. Oh, and if you're a rookie, we're going to throw you as many innings as we possibly can and not set you up for success ever, ever, ever. Because pitching, what's pitching? I don't know. I was a hitter. Let me tell you about what Hank Aaron said about pitching. Don't care. And we get to experience him for a whole nother year, probably 162 games.
Did you just work in a fake? Did you just
expect him to murder somebody?
Did you just work in a fake Dusty Baker Hank Aaron quote? I love that.
They're all Hank Aaron quotes. Let me tell you, I love that.
They're all Hank Aaron quotes. Like any question.
I went out dancing with Hank Aaron. They played great music in that city, so I'm qualified to be your manager. What is that?
I'm just looking forward to this. Is let's put this in perspective. This is how crazy Dusty Baker has made Andy over a 60-game regular season and 2 playoff series. Let's just see what happens at the end of next year when you have 2.5 much time. Well, almost three times as much time.
We're gonna cut to him Dusty. With just going like.
I broke into my daughter's room, found a pile of wristbands. I set them on fire just on principle. They didn't even have Dusty's face on them, which he still wears, and he's 802.
But now he's not even the oldest manager in baseball, but he is the only older manager in baseball that doesn't fall asleep drunk behind the wheel of his car.
Well, because Hank Aaron told him
Tony La Russa shot Tony La Russa.
Scott, what did you
you get one of the white players to drive you around. That's what you do.
That's a double Tony La Russa being a racist shot. That's weird. This is gold. What a way to end the year. Scott, who is your third?
My final grievance is actually with myself, because I love the universal DH and the expanded playoffs that we had this year, and I shouldn't like them. I'm supposed to be a grumpy old man. I am Caucasian. I am older. I have gray in the beard. I'm not supposed to like new and progressive things, but I do. So I'm really mad at myself, and there's an internal screaming match taking place right now. And it's simply because the universal DH made things fun, and the expanded playoffs brought more teams into the manner. I'm not supposed to like it, But I do. And I'm mad at myself. I'm going to punish myself later.
Honestly, I particularly when they get to 32 teams, which I think will happen sooner than later, I kind of like it too. And I definitely liked the wild card round being 3 games and not being just a one and done. One and done is so against the nature of baseball.
But I think but just so we're not giving Rob Manfred credit for any of that, because if it was him, there would have been worse changes.
Yes.
I like the DH, and I think it just eventually moves universal, and I'm good with that. I like the expanded playoffs. I hate the 7-inning doubleheaders because baseball is baseball, and it penalizes teams who have good bullpens and bad starters, or vice versa. But there are some changes that were palatable this year that I think you can expand on and make better. I don't want to see 7-inning doubleheaders anymore.
I don't think you will, because that takes away revenue. And whenever they can have as many games as possible, they will, because that will increase tickets for each game. But I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. So don't make sure you come back to money.
My last grievance, and those of you who watch the whole episode, I know some people just watch segments, and that's great. That's why we set it up this way. You would find out that Mr. Joe Kelly was on Santa's naughty list. And I've got a grievance with Joe Kelly. Joe Kelly, to me, and the heroification of him acting like a 6-year-old, sticking his tongue out, is really, to me, the end result of the Trump era, where we have lost any degree of decorum. We've lost any degree of acting like you've been there before. We are allowed to live minute by minute and be just be a like nanny boo boo, to be a child. We're all supposed to be adults. I got it. And so I can't look, I'm look, people are going to say it's because it happened to our Astros, Andy, but I think you know me well enough to know I'm pretty consistent when I think behavior is, I think that kind of behavior, and Joe Kelly epitomizes, is actually like detrimental to us as a society. And the worship of that, it's the worst part of us. It takes away any intellectual responsibility or consistency. The fact is he actually helped the Dodgers also lose a World Series through what people would think would be misbegotten means. So the idea of the moral flexibility and all that, fuck Joe Kelly.
Don't stick out. Throw a punch.
Yeah, right. But Andy, I think you had a bonus grievance.
Yeah, and this is not baseball related, but it popped up again on my Facebook feed, so I just want to address this with all of your listeners. Hallelujah is not a Christmas song.